My 15-year-old daughter was sobbing on the phone. Some women had cornered her at the farmer's market and were calling her unchristian. Why? Because she refused to mother the affair babies her father left behind before dying. That's when I knew. I wasn't just dealing with grief anymore. I was at war with people who thought they could rewrite our family's history. Call to action 025 to 045. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or had to clean up someone else's mess, hit that like button. Subscribe for more true stories where karma comes kicking through the front door. Because today's revenge? Oh, it's poetic. Full story starts 045 to 1300 hours. Opening scene. The aftermath of betrayal. Grief is a strange thing. It should bring people together. But in my case, it set fire to everything. My name's Laura. I'm 46, mother to two amazing teenage daughters, Sophie, 17, and Lila, 15. And last year, our lives were turned inside out. My ex-husband, Greg, died in a car accident. Sudden. Violent. No closure. Just a gone. But what should have been the end of a painful chapter was only the beginning of something darker. Because Greg wasn't just a liar. He was a father, twice over. Cut to flashback. The secret family. Sophie and Lila were the ones who found out about Greg's affair. Ironic, right? Two kids uncovering the truth their mother couldn't see. It started with whispers, receipts, late-night texts. And then, boom, two little boys. Born from the woman Greg cheated on me with. And if that wasn't enough, the affair partner, his soulmate, as he called her, also died in that same accident, leaving behind two orphan boys and a mess that landed in our laps. Emotional beat. The in-laws step in. Greg's parents, Robert and Susan, 78 and 80, were never warm to me. They tolerated me when Greg was alive, but after he died, it was like they saw me as the gatekeeper to everything they wanted. Custody of my daughters. A place to live. Influence. Control. They filed for custody of my teenage daughters. They wanted to move in with us. Without asking. And they weren't subtle about it. We're family, they said. This is what Greg would have wanted. I wasn't even finished processing the death of the man who betrayed me, and now I was fighting to protect the only people he didn't lie to, our daughters. Backstory. Life before the collapse. Let me rewind for a moment. Greg wasn't always a liar. Or maybe he was, and I was just blind. We were high school sweethearts. Built our life together from scratch. I worked 2 jobs in the beginning. He was the dreamer, the musician, the romantic. When the girls were born, I thought we had everything. A house, a family, laughter. I didn't notice the cracks until they became canyons. By the time Sophie turned 13, Greg was detached, always on his phone, hiding behind work trips. And then came the surrogate story. He said we were helping someone. A friend who needed a place to stay. Turns out she was the one he was helping himself to. The market incident, where it boils over. The weekend market had always been our little ritual. Fresh produce, home-baked bread, local honey. Something peaceful in a chaotic world. It was Lila's birthday weekend. Her actual party was still a few weeks out, but I wanted to do something special. I gave her a little budget and told her to go wild. She was beaming. Chocolate, sweets, trinkets. For a moment, she was just a happy kid again. Until she wasn't. She called me. I'll never forget her voice. Quivering, panicked. Mom, some women are yelling at me. They said I'm going to hell. My blood went cold. Sophie and I ran through the crowd until we saw her, my baby, backed into a corner by a pack of older women. Self-righteous, shrieking, and all too familiar. Women from Robert and Susan's church. One of them jabbed a finger at Lila. It's unchristian to ignore your grandparents. Or your baby brothers. I stepped between them like a lioness. Told Sophie to take Lila and the groceries to the car. Then I turned to those women and let every ounce of rage I had pour out. One of them had the gall to say I was disobeying my in-laws. That a good Christian wife obeys, yes, obeys, her husband's parents. Let me remind you, my husband cheated, lied, died, and I was the one picking up the pieces. Security broke us up. We were all asked to leave. But those women, they followed me to the car, like vultures circling something dying. The online smear campaign, backroom hypocrisy. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. I messaged a friend from their church, someone neutral. What he showed me made my skin crawl. My ex-mother-in-law, Susan, had posted a sob story on the church's private Facebook group. According to her, I was a bitter ex-wife kicking them out of their home. My daughters? Ungrateful brats who refused to embrace their siblings. She even said the boys, Greg's affair kids, were ours, and I abandoned them because they were boys. To sell the lie, she claimed the affair partner had been our surrogate. Yes, you heard that right. Suddenly, the woman Greg slept with was cast as a selfless helper in our marriage. And I was the cruel witch who threw away innocent baby boys because I couldn't stand not being the only woman in Greg's life. Turning point, the decision to strike back. That night, I sat in my dark kitchen. Tea cold. Heart pounding. It was time. You see, I was mid-divorce when Greg died. Which meant all the evidence. The screenshots, the texts, the photos, the confessions. They were legally mine to use. I wasn't going to scream or cry anymore. I was going to expose every single lie they built their fake Christian suffering around. Revenge planning, step by step. The next day, I took the day off. I went to a print shop. Ordered high-resolution prints of every piece of dirt I had. Greg kissing his affair partner in our living room. Texts with his parents encouraging the affair. Emails of them bullying my daughters, calling them bastards. A message blaming Sophie and Lila for Greg's death, dated just 2 days after he died. Then I got creative. I assembled everything into custom-made hymn binders. Yes, the kind that their church handed out during Sunday service. Clean, black covers. Elegant font. First page? A full-page color photo of Greg making out with his mistress, under the title. Greg and an affair partner's name, a love story, bound with a table of contents. Organized by date, topic, and yes, scripture misquotes they used to justify their manipulation. Execution, church bombshell. Sunday morning, I walked into that church like I was just another sinner seeking salvation. Nobody checked the binders on the back desk. By the time the sermon ended, whispers had started. Pages had turned. Gasps echoed. The gossip mill lit up like wildfire. Within an hour, the church Facebook group exploded. Some of the words used to describe Greg and the affair partner made even me blush, and I'm no saint. The pastor tried to calm things down, but it was too late. People were furious. Not just about the affair, but about how my daughters had been treated. Revenge payoff, 13 to 1500 hours. Susan and Robert? Publicly humiliated. They were shamed out of the very community they tried to weaponize. Susan made one final post on her wall, begging for sympathy. "No one cares for the elderly anymore," she wrote. "My son would have protected us." With what? His lies? His ghost? They vanished from the church. No more Facebook posts. No more judgmental glares at the market. Just silence. As for my daughters, they got apology letters from 2 women in the church and an invite back for support. Yeah, we passed. Reflective wrap-up, 15 to 1520. Revenge doesn't undo the past, but sometimes it restores the truth. My daughters didn't deserve shame. They deserved peace. And thanks to a little binder and a lot of receipts, that's exactly what they got. If that gave you chills, hit that like button right now. Tell me in the comments.